Hi students, it's time for art again. First we're going to start with Godzilla of the Week. So this is what I found. This is Mothra. Mothra from the 2005 movie, I think it was from Godzilla vs. Final Wars. You can see he's furry, he's soft, he's not like the scary new version in the new movie, in the American movies, but he's pretty cool. This is a toy, and I just dug him out because he was on top of all my other Godzilla toys that running out of Godzillas to show you. So, but that was Mothra. Mothra usually kind of helps Godzilla sometimes. I don't remember what happened. I'll have to watch Godzilla versus Final Wars again. I forgot what happened in that movie. It's been a while. It's been like 15 years since I've seen that. Anyways, that's it. That's it for Godzilla of the Week. So now let's get on to the art portion of our project, of our video. Hi, fifth graders. We're going to be working on this flower oil pastel picture inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe. Um, and she was a modern artist. She was a modern artist that was popular for painting these gigantic, beautiful flowers. And but she was a very serious modern artist, and so you would think like, oh, like a lot of people, she's popular because of those flowers. They think she's kind of happy and, I don't know, full of life, but I'm not going to show any pictures of her. But she's very serious and somber, and I think that she enjoyed painting other things. She probably got tired of people always telling her that they liked her flowers, but they knew nothing of all the other paintings she did. She did some landscapes, she painted some like skulls and flowers and things, and she painted a lot of different things. She did paint a lot of flowers, but I could tell that she probably didn't like that popularity because she was serious, right? But anyways, painting big beautiful flowers is kind of awesome. I think that's why everybody likes her. Sorry, Georgia. Tough. It's your fate, right? Anyways, so my thing's too here. I'll just zoom out. So it's like, so we're gonna make this, oil pastels, right? And so, but what do we start with? This is the finish. This is the finished picture. So, and we have 3 weeks to work on it. You received this orange paper with an outline of that flower, right? So eventually we're going to have to cut it out, but we're only going to cut it out after we finished all the detail on the flower, because we can go out of the lines on purpose, like it won't impede our brush strokes, and then later we'll just cut it out, right? And then we'll mount it onto this blue, and then we'll draw some of the stem, and then there's some little purple in the background and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to put this away for now. We don't need the blue for now. You have, we'll start with this. I'm going to put this so I can kind of see it. Oh my gosh, where am I going to put this? Off, I guess, over here. Okay. Now, you received a bag of oil pastels. And so I apologize if they're kind of small. Like mine might be a little bigger, but they're small. Now, how do you hold an oil pastel? Do you go like this? Especially like, no, like you're, oh, I'm gonna go like this. No, that's hard to do. I mean, if you had a big, like a regular, like an unbroken one, you might be able to do it like that. But really, the best way to use oil pastels is to hold it like this. Like, I don't know. Like you're not gonna be writing your name. You're gonna be drawing. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm holding it 2 fingers, thumb, and I'm going to use my arm. You can't see my arm. And you're kind of going to go like this. I'm not doing it yet. So you kind of use your whole hand and arm instead of like using your little fingers like that. Like that would take forever. So think of it like you're going to use your whole hand, you're going to use your whole arm. It's kind of hard. But again, don't sweat it out. This is like practice, right? Okay, so where do we begin? Let's see. What do I want to do first? Do I really want to do this first, or do I want to do? I think I want to do the yellow first. So let's not do the red first. So you probably have a little bit of yellow. Let's do the yellow. Hopefully you have at least this much yellow. Okay. So what are we going to do with the yellow? Oh, before we even do this, let's talk about, oh my gosh, let me get a piece of scratch paper. Tell me, oh good, I got one right here. Okay, scratch paper. So let's talk about using oil pastels, right? You're like, oh, I know how to do it, Mr. Smith. It's all good. No, no, it's not. We'll use the red so you can see it. So there's two different ways. There's a lot of different ways on how, in fact, get a scratch paper. So pause the video. This is like a copy paper, or you can just get any kind of paper, any kind of like paper you're going to throw away later. But blank is obviously better. Okay, so get this. Pause the video and get this, and then come back. First off, we'll talk about using it different ways. Then we'll talk about cleaning your oil pastels, because some of your oil pastels are gross. Like my white is actually pretty good. Your white is probably disgusting. So I'll show you how to clean it, because you got to clean it before you use it, right? So there's a couple different ways on how to use these oil pastels. Like basically the pressure, how hard you press down. So a lot of times it's going to be very light. So I'm pressing down very light. I'm just barely rubbing it on that paper, right? And so it's very light. Or I can press down very hard like this, right? So you can see the difference, night and day. So I'm barely doing it. And you can kind of blend it, and then very hard, right? Like big, broad strokes. Now, there's another thing that can happen with your oil pastels. What happens is sometimes you get like an edge, like it's like a wide side. And what happens is when that happens, like you kind of build it up, what happens is your strokes get larger, and that's usually pretty good. In fact, you kind of want to get that here. See how these strokes are wider and these were thinner because it was sharp to begin with, but now it's getting dull, and I have this kind of like flat edge, and I can kind of pull it there, and I can get these like bigger. See, check that out. Watch this, bigger strokes. And you're probably thinking, no big deal, Mr. Smith. Actually, this is huge. This is very huge. Because usually you want to lay down a texture and a light color. And the flatter and easier it is to do, you can go very lightly. It's easier to lay down that tone of color if your oil pastel is kind of flat in an area, right? So see how nice and easy that is, as opposed to like if it was like this will take forever. Now what I did was, sometimes you do need a thin line, so that's a thin line. So what you can do is you can just rotate this thing and find like a sharp point or like a thin edge. Like, I don't know, there's probably one right here. And when I do it, I have a thin, well, that's not too thin. There we go, thin. And then when I turn it to that nice flat edge, I get like a nice flat tone. It's like wider. Awesome. And then if I want to get a real heavy stroke, I just press down harder. And usually when you do that, you're gonna make a wide side or edge. See the difference? This is pressing down hard. This is pressing down light. Usually we press down light first. Then what we do is we build up and we press down a little harder on it to develop a blend. Like, so I can blend this into that. So here it's pretty dark, but then I want to kind of ease off and go a little lighter, and then maybe it will blend a little better. Yeah, like that. So it's kind of blending, and then barely do it. And then I can kind of build this up a little more, maybe get a little darker. And so that's a blend or a gradient of dark to light. So it's like darker and it's lighter. And it looks like a nice shadow or shading, right? So that's very important. So remember, a flat side is nice for doing soft, if you can do it, for doing soft texture. If you get a little sharp point, you can get thin lines. And then if you press down hard, you'll get these. So that's how we use it. So we'll usually start off light first. Reason why we usually start off light is because it's easy to go dark. But if you go really dark, you can't make this light again. You can't erase this stuff. Like, there's no erasing. You may try. You can erase oil pastel. So the way to avoid it is you go light, and then if it's working, you go darker. If it's not working, you just leave it alone, and it won't be that big of a deal. Okay? So there's no erasing. Don't try to erase this stuff. It won't work. Okay, now let's talk about cleaning. This one's pretty clean, but like your white will be disgusting. Now I don't think we're really going to use white today, but let's see. Your white, this is pretty clean because I packed all your bags with, and these were disgusting. What happens is all these different oil pastels, they rub up against it, and they're like gray, brown yuck, and so they're gross. Now it's okay if this part's gray, brown yuck because you're not using that on your paper, but this part you want to be clean. So how do you clean your oil pastel? Well, you get a scratch paper like this. Here's my scratch paper. Don't do it on your paper, and don't do it on the back because then it's going to get all over the place. But basically just wipe it off. See how that was kind of gunky? But it's already getting cleaner, and you just kind of like turn it around. It's already getting cleaner. Let's see, better. And then I usually try to get a little bit on the edge too, like kind of near. It's like I kind of turn it around. It's pretty gunky. Pretty gunkalicious. Oh, look at that. There's a little bit green in there. Disgusting. Okay. But anyways, and you can see it's pretty clean. So, and I kind of turn it. So there, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty clean. If you clean it like this, don't be super crazy perfectionist. If there's like a teeny bit like, oh, I got to get that. There's a little, I got to get that out. Like sometimes it's hard to like perfectly clean it. Like don't do it. You're going to run out of white because you're going to be rubbing it off so much trying to get it all perfectly clean. You'll probably lose that part. It's okay if you get it not like this, but after I've cleaned it, if I get a little bit of gunk, it'll be okay. Like you won't even notice it. So, but that's how you clean it. And here's my orange. Oh, look at the orange is pretty gross. Let's check this out. It's pretty gunky. That's probably what, yeah. But this looks pretty clean. So again, I can just, that's pretty, ooh, oh look, I got white on it. There, that's clean. And then, like I said, I like to get a little bit on the edge. I kind of turn it around here. I kind of turn it, so I kind of try to get a little clean there. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, don't try to clean the whole thing. I mean, you could, I don't know. Like I said, if you try to clean the whole thing so much, you're going to run out. Because I didn't give you very much of these colors. So don't run out, okay? You don't even have orange. Yellow, you'll have yellow. Your yellow might be gross. So you might have to do the same thing with your yellow. So just be aware of that. Okay, so anyways, let's look at my yellow. My yellow is pretty clean. I got a new one. So I'm going to clean it a little bit. Okay, we're good. Okay, I talked a long time about cleaning your stuff. So I won't talk about this again, but remember it. Remember, I'll try to remind you, but lightly, and then you can press down hard. Okay, so there it is. So I'm going to put this away. Now, where do we begin? Well, we want to start with the yellow. The yellow, hopefully you'll be able to see the yellow on this camera. Let's find out. Oh my God. Whoa, camera! Okay, here we go. Got it. Let's see here. Let's put it here. Okay. All right, that's good enough. So the first thing we want to do is we want to define where our petals go. Right now it's kind of nebulous, like it's just kind of the outer outline and it kind of stops, like it doesn't really go in. So we're going to use our oil pastel to kind of draw where these go. And so they're going to go kind of to the center, but I'll show you. Oh good, you can kind of see that point. Maybe not. Okay. So here's how it works. It's going to go like this. Up. Okay. That's the size. Okay, here we go. So along the edge, I'm gonna do it kind of, oh good, you can see it. Now okay. Here's the thing with the yellow. The yellow is kind of hard to see on the orange. It's not perfectly opaque, meaning it doesn't completely cover up the orange. It does a little bit, but it's not solidly, right? So, but it's okay. I'm pressing down medium. Not super hard, not super light, because otherwise you wouldn't really see it. Now, where does this line go? It actually kind of wiggles a little bit, and then it stops right about here, kind of in the middle. Yeah. Okay. And then on this line, and then it's yellow on the edge, right? It's yellow on the edge. And then I'm going to go here. And so it's yellow on the edge. I'm pressing down kind of medium hard, We can always press down harder later, but for now, you know, medium hard. And then this is it's gonna wiggle a little bit here, like the flower petal kind of wiggles a little bit. Don't worry if your wiggle is not exactly the same as mine. And then it's gonna kind of stop right about here, but don't totally, let's see, don't totally connect it. It just kind of, that's kind of like that flower petal, right? Okay. Then these two petals are actually behind, so these two are in front. So these are going to connect right here. So let me show you how they go. So let's see, I'm going to go, this is some yellow along the edge. I'm pressing down kind of hard, medium hard. And then this is going to kind of wiggle a little bit here. And then it's going to connect kind of like right here. Okay. And then this kind of goes out, wiggles a little. And then kind of follows this. And you can press down a little harder there. So this flower petal is kind of touching there. And then same with this one. This one's going to connect. Let's see, does it wiggle? Maybe a little. I should have had my original picture. I think maybe I printed it. I'll have to look at it. But anyways, there it is. This could be, it doesn't have to wiggle that much. It can kind of go like that. And then this, again, it's going to go, it's yellow. And then it comes over and it kind of connects there. So they kind of connect at that point. Kind of looks like a 3-in-1, like a trinity, but it's not really a trinity though. Okay, so that's pretty good. So these three flower petals are in front of these other three. These are kind of behind. Now, what we do want to do though is we do want to add some yellow on this edge, right? And then a little bit over here. Okay. And then we want to add it over here too. So it's basically on the edge of the flower. It's kind of yellow. Okay, check. Check. Okay, and then I got to move my camera. I'm going to move it. And then basically along the edge of this one, you can't see the bottom of my petal, but I go along that edge all the way around. I'm pressing down kind of hard, kind of medium hard. Okay, so there it is. And now what we want to do is, here's what we want to do. We want this edge to be kind of yellow. So we can press down a little harder. Let's see here. Let me move my camera and hopefully not drop it. Okay, so we want to define this edge. And so we're going to press down a little harder. Look, you get these little crayon kind of chunks. You can kind of maybe, I don't know, if you brush them away, they might, whoa, focus. They might smear if you try to brush them away. Usually what I do is I usually leave them, and then at the end I take my paper and I go over a trash can and I kind of shake it over the trash can. But anyway, so we want to define this edge, and we want to press down a little harder on that edge. We want it to be kind of yellow. It's not going to be perfectly yellow, but the video, oh shoot, I broke it. Oh man. Oh man. I'm just going to go for it. This is another reason why it's important to hold it like this. Like, you can't draw like this. I can't do it, Mr. Smith. You got to hold it like that. And you kind of have strength. Like, that way you could use a small piece. All the poor starving artists use every bit of every material, right? They're like, oh, that's still a good pastel. I'm not letting that go to waste. So I'm kind of build this up here. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to blend it a little bit. Blend it meaning it's a real, like a kind of like a dark yellow here, but then I want it to blend a teeny bit. So I'm going to go along the edge, but lightly. So like I'll show you, like it's going to be a little lighter along that edge, so that it kind of feels softer on that edge. I can barely see that. Can you see that? Maybe a little. You can see right there. That's what we want to do. Just a little bit. Don't go too far in. We're just going to want to soften that edge a little bit. A little softer. A little softer. A little softer in here. You can probably use your finger to blend it a little bit, but oil pastels don't blend like chalk pastels. They don't blend as well, but you can blend them a little bit. I'll try. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like. Again, I just want to see how it's just a little softer there. That's all. Don't go crazy. Like, we're not like blending it all into the flower. It's just on that edge. Okay, let's see if I can blend it. So you want to find a finger that's not gross, like with all kinds of colors. So far it looks like my hands are clean, so but you can't really go crazy. You can't really blend this stuff. It might help a little. It helps a little. It does. Now, sometimes if you blend it too much, the yellow will disappear. Well, look at that yellow. It'll disappear. Well, then you have to add it back. You have to kind of press it back in again. So don't blend it too much because then it'll disappear. You don't want that to happen. You just want to blend it a little. That looks pretty good. Okay. So now what are we doing? Now what we want to do is we want to add some detail. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's going to be cut off. It's like, whoops, look at that. Oh, don't worry. That's going to be cut off. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's draw some shapes and some shading into it with this yellow. Okay, so the first thing we have is there's this weird, I don't know what piece of the flower this thing is, but it's kind of like I don't know what it is. Oh gosh. When you study biology and science, you'll know what that is. You're like, oh, that's the so and so. Oops, sorry. So it's kind of like a diamond. It kind of looks like this, and it kind of curves in. There's actually a very tiny hole here, but we're not going to really kind of do that this week. Let's see, this should connect here. It's right here. So there's like a little hole, and then this thing, I don't know what it is. It's something fancy that attracts bugs. That's what it is. That's a scientific term. It's a fancy thing that attracts bugs. No, that's not what it's called, but you get the idea. It's a thing. It looks beautiful. And so then what we want to do, but it's kind of like a diamond or a kite, like a badge almost, but it curves a little bit. So try to draw that as best you can. And then there's like some lines. So let's see, let's do one down the middle. And then we'll try to do two more here. So I'm going to try to do one here. Ooh, it's too big. So here I'm just going to do that. And then maybe another one. And then there's going to be one here and then another one. Now we're not done with this thing. We're not done with it. In fact, here, we're going to add next week when we get to like red. I'm going to blend it a little. There, you can see it. Next week, we're going to add some red. So like right now it's orange there, but we'll add some red. But don't do it yet. We'll add a little red here where that kind of hole is. Stuff like that. And then there's a little bit of this, there's like a little bit of a yellow highlight that kind of comes from that part. Okay, that's it. Let's see. There's also, while we're on this leaf, there's a little bit of, so this is where you want to go light with the yellow. There's a highlight. So let's see if you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. It looks better on the computer screen than it does in real life. It's hard to see because there's not a lot of light in my room. Notice how I'm going lightly, and this is going to be, the shape is kind of nebulous. It's like this, it kind of follows down into the flower petal, kind of like this. Like that kind of like that. And now you can blend it a little. Maybe you want to soften it so it kind of blends to nothing. But remember, if you blend it too much, you want to be able to see it. So you might add a little more. Maybe in the middle. Yeah. And then, but soften the edges a little. Yeah, so it's kind of a highlight. But that's all. It's kind of faint. That's all we're going to do with that right now. We're going to maybe blend that a little more. That's pretty good. Okay, then there's this little highlight. We kind of have it down the center of this. You can just do it lightly. It's kind of down the center of this flower petal. And then this one has it too. It's a very thin, here it's just going to go kind of, it doesn't go up all the way. It just kind of goes up like that and it kind of fades. Later we'll maybe make it a little more yellow there, but for now we're just going to leave that. There's a little bit of a highlight right here. Let's see, it's soft. You're not going to press down hard. You are not pressing down hard. You can barely see that. And it's just kind of like this shape. It's like a highlight. It's kind of rounded. Ooh, I got a little red there. That's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about that. I don't see any red there. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a highlight here. It's a little bit of like a light yellow. Okay, here we go. There, see? Very subtle. You can maybe blend it a little. Let's see. But yeah, don't blend it too much. I usually blend the outer edge, so you want it to kind of blend in with the other color. You don't want to blend this part. You want that to be noticeable. I don't know. Try not to blend it too much because, like I said, it'll disappear. If it disappears, you have to kind of do it again. Okay, let's see, where else do we have a highlight? Now this is kind of weird. There's a kind of a bigger, it's almost like an oval, so it's going to look like this. So you can almost draw it. There, it's kind of like an oval, and then there's that line that comes out of it. And then you can blend this a little. Let's see, but this can be a little lighter, so you can kind of make that a little lighter in the middle. There you go. Kind of build it up a little. Kind of blend around the edge a little. Okay, that's pretty good. And then the same thing on this one is over here. It's kind of like an oval. Don't forget, you can always pause the video and like do that. Okay, and then it has a line. Okay, and then let's see, we can blend it a little. Oh, there's a little bit of blending over here. So it's a little over here, soft, and a little over here. I'm getting that flat edge, so it's easier to do a soft, general blending, right? Yeah. Now that looks too liney, like you can see the lines, so maybe I'll blend it a little. But to be honest, when you have little lines like this, it creates a texture. And flowers actually do kind of have a texture. Like, watch, I'll show you. Like, well, I mean, this is the drawing, but here it's like, you can see those lines. Like in here, you can see those lines. But it creates a texture, especially like in here. And if you look super close at a flower, you'll see there's like so much detail in flowers. It's kind of amazing. It's amazing. Okay, finally, it's like the beauty of God's creation. Okay, so then, so we have a little bit here, and then we want a little down. So there's going to be a line coming down here, but lightly, right? And then there's a little bit of a highlight down here. So let's see, I'm going to use the flatter part of my, let's see if I can do it. Yep, and it's kind of like here. Yeah, maybe blend it a little here. And then it's a little bit over here. Yep. I can see it better on my computer screen. That's funny. Okay, and then maybe a little more of a line there. Okay, and then you can blend it a teeny bit. Don't blend it too much. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. Do we have time for anything else? I don't think so. We still have 2 weeks. I spent a lot of time talking about cleaning your oil pastels and different lines. So we kind of spent a lot of time on this. We have 3 weeks to work on this. Next week we'll go in, we'll take the red and we'll start adding some shadows, but not yet. I want to show you what to do, and then we'll add even some white highlights, right? So like, you can barely see it. Let's see here. Here you can see I just have a little bit of white in there. You'll see that I added some, so look, I have some like softer brush strokes, and then I kind of turned it so you can see the line, so it's like not so soft. And then here I found like a little crisp corner, so I could draw these little, almost like these lines. So this, whatever this thing is, it has these little details, like these little red details. It's like this beautiful feature, the center of the flower that I assume it attracts bugs and they see it and stuff like that. Like they know, hey, that's where you go to get the nectar or whatever, I don't know. And then let's see, did we blend some of this? Oh, we added a little bit of the red near the yellow so that you can see the yellow a little better. And the flower actually looks like this. It has a little bit of a curl here, so there's a shadow. So we'll do that. So, but yeah, we got a couple weeks to work on this, and then we'll add a little bit of color on our background for like our leaves and stuff like that. So we have a couple weeks, we have 2 more weeks to work on this. So far so good. So keep this in a safe place. Next time we'll add some red and we'll add a little more yellow and white, right? And so we'll really, we'll try to get most of this done next week. And then the final week we will do the background, we'll cut it out, we'll glue it on and stuff like that. So, but that's it. So hopefully that was interesting. Keep your oil pastels in a safe place, put them back in the bag. If they break, keep them. Try not to, I broke mine. We don't have very much yellow at school, so you can't get any more yellow. So be real careful of your yellow, right? I mean, it's very difficult for me to get you a yellow, so try not to. We're running out. There's so many of you I had to send this home to. So anyways, I hope that was interesting and fun. Keep all your stuff safe. Put your pastels back in the bag. And I'll see you next week for the second part of this video. Hope it was interesting. And I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.